Sometimes you look at a painting, and it feels like the painting is looking back at you. The gold shines, figures seem frozen between dream and reality. That is no accident. This is Gustav Klimt. Those who loved him called him a genius. Those who disliked him called him scandalous. But everyone agreed on one thing. Klimt burned the borders of art. He painted what society refused to accept, and he used gold not as decoration, but as a language. When you look at his works, it's not only the eyes that see, you also see intellect, desire, and forbidden emotions. In this video, we will discover the man behind the kiss, an artist who lived on the edge of scandal, love, and beauty. Welcome to the story of Gustav Klimt. Fact 1. His birth and family. Gustav Klimt was born on July 14, 1862, in Baumgarten, a small suburb of Vienna, Austria. His family was not wealthy. In fact, they were very poor. His father, Ernst Emil Klimt, was an engraver who worked with gold and silver. His mother, Anna Klimt, dreamed of becoming an opera singer, but her dream never came true. There were 7 children in the family, and Klimt grew up in cramped rooms and constant financial struggle. That poverty gave him 2 things: an understanding of the value of gold, a deep connection to art. And perhaps that is why, years later, the gold in his paintings became more than decoration. It became a symbol of life. Fact 2. The master of the golden period. When people hear the name Gustav Klimt, most of them immediately imagine the same thing: shimmering gold backgrounds, mosaic-like patterns, and figures frozen between dream and reality. That is no coincidence. This was his famous golden period. During this time, Klimt began to use gold leaf in his paintings. It was not just decoration, it became his language. For him, gold did not mean wealth, it meant the glow of the soul. The root of this idea goes back to his childhood. His father worked as an engraver with gold and silver, and little Gustav watched the light and magic of metal every day. Years later, those memories turned into art. People who saw his paintings in this period were divided into 2 groups. Some said, "This is genius." Others said, "This is too bold, even indecent." Klimt listened to neither side. He continued walking his own path, covered in gold. Some of his most famous works belong to this time: the Kiss portrait of Adele Bloch-Bauer. Judith. In these paintings, he was not only depicting people, he was depicting desire, passion, and mystery. The golden background seemed to lift his figures out of everyday life and place them in another world, a world of eternity. That is why today Klimt is remembered with one simple sentence: he did not just use gold, he made gold speak. Fact 3. He first painted as an academic realist. Today, when we look at Klimt's paintings, it is hard to connect them with classical academic art. But interestingly, he started his career as a completely academic realist. Young Klimt studied at the Art Academy, and his teachers demanded one simple thing: paint the world exactly as it looks. He painted church ceilings, theater interiors, and large murals strictly following academic rules. Perspective, anatomy, proportion, everything was precise. Many people thought Klimt would continue this way and become a quiet, rule-following painter. But one day something changed. He realized the world is not only what we see, there is another world inside every human being. For Klimt, reality was no longer just form. He wanted to paint the soul as well. So he moved away from academic realism and turned toward modernism. What did that mean? Breaking rules, showing not only what is seen, but what is felt, bold compositions and symbolism. This shift brought him criticism too. Some said he is destroying art, but time proved the opposite. Klimt did not simply change style, he changed the direction of art. He freed reality from the canvas and turned it into meaning, symbol, and emotion. Today his name is remembered not only as that of a painter, but as someone who transformed art itself. Fact 4. His paintings were once considered scandalous. Today, we calmly admire Gustav Klimt's works in museums. But in his own time, these paintings were considered a scandal. Critics said, "They are too erotic. This is not real art." Such paintings should be hidden, not exhibited. Klimt did not hide the human body. He didn't treat it as something shameful. He showed it as power, beauty, and life. and that frightened society. Some of his works were removed from exhibitions, some were officially banned, and newspapers attacked him harshly. People demanded, "Paint more modestly, return to the rules." Klimt answered simply, "I paint for truth, not for rules." Years passed. The paintings once called shocking and immoral are now preserved as masterpieces of genius. History proves something again. First they criticize, then they admire. Fact 5. He hardly ever traveled and spent nearly his whole life in Vienna. Unlike many famous artists who traveled across Europe for inspiration, Gustav Klimt almost never traveled. He did not chase distant landscapes, exotic countries, or grand tours. Instead, he stayed mostly in Vienna, the city that shaped him. Vienna at that time was not just a city, it was a living laboratory of ideas. New music, new philosophy, new art, new psychology. Freud lived there too. Klimt found everything he needed without leaving it. He lived quietly, almost invisibly. No dramatic journeys, no constant movement, no noisy adventures. He worked in his small studio, surrounded by sketches, fabrics, and models. His greatest journeys were internal ones, into dreams, symbols, and the human mind. So ironically, he did not travel the world, but his art traveled everywhere. Today, Klimt's works hang in museums across the globe, even though their creator rarely left the city where he was born. Fact 6. His studio was filled with aristocratic women, and he was called the painter of women. Gustav Klimt's studio was rarely empty. Day after day, elegant, aristocratic women arrived, in silk dresses, with jewelry and fans, bringing with them stories, secrets, and expectations. They all wanted the same thing, to be painted by Klimt. He didn't just capture their faces, he revealed something deeper: confidence, fragility, desire, pride. Women trusted him because he understood how they wanted to be seen. Very soon, people started calling him the painter of women. His portraits were different from traditional society portraits. They were not cold symbols of status. They were alive. Gold backgrounds, rich patterns, mysterious smiles, hypnotic eyes. Every portrait seemed to whisper, "This woman has a secret." Some critics accused him of idealizing women. Others said he revealed too much truth about them. But one thing is certain, no other artist of his time painted women with such power, respect, and fascination as Gustav Klimt. Fact 7. He died in 1918 from a stroke and Spanish flu, the same year as Picasso's rise. In 1918, Europe was exhausted. War, hunger, and the deadly Spanish flu pandemic. That year, Gustav Klimt suffered a stroke. His weakened body could not fight the flu that followed. He died in 1918, the same year the old world seemed to collapse, and a new artistic world was beginning to form. It is also the year associated with the rise of Picasso's generation, symbolically marking a turning point in art. The end of Vienna, secession, the beginning of modern avant-garde. Klimt left many works unfinished in his studio. Sketches of women, gold backgrounds half complete, ideas that would never fully appear on canvas. Vienna mourned him deeply. On his studio door, someone wrote simply, "Here lived a painter who loved beauty." Though his life ended suddenly, his influence did not. Today, Klimt's works are among the most famous and expensive paintings in the world. Proof that even after death, his art continued to live. Fact 8. The Kiss. Gustav Klimt's most famous painting is The Kiss, a couple wrapped in shining gold, frozen in a single moment of love. He used real gold leaf, so the painting doesn't just show love, it glows. Today, The Kiss is one of the most recognizable artworks in the world and a universal symbol of love and intimacy. Fact 9. He avoided interviews and rarely spoke in public. Klimt did not like fame in the modern sense. He hated interviews, avoided speeches, and rarely explained his paintings. He once said, "Whoever wants to know me should look carefully at my pictures." He believed art should speak for itself, without the artist standing beside it and explaining every detail. Fact 10. He never married, but had many muses. Klimt never took a wife. He was surrounded by women all his life, patrons, models, and muses. He had several relationships and likely fathered multiple children. He lived simply, worked every day, and devoted his life completely to art.